Hey guys, I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Guy.
And we are
The Action Guys.
Nice and traditional, straight from the hip.
Right? What an exciting week for the DCEU and honestly for you and me as movie fans.
Yes, absolutely, guys. This is a big week. There's a lot to talk about. We're excited about this episode. This is another one in our series of the definitive ranking series that we've been doing.
Yes.
And this one felt especially pertinent because I think there's a big win on DC's hands right now in Shazam.
100%. You and I have been absolutely dying to see this movie. We went and saw it as common folk, not a screener. You were out of town for your screener, and usually I'm your plus one. You were out of town. Shazam came out, and our friends in this movie space have been gushing and dying over this film for almost a month, and we've just been dying to see it. And last night, before we watched it, I told you I was a little worried about the hype. Yeah, and we both loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so this was a big win for DC. I really enjoyed this movie. We did a full review of just that movie over on Action Movie Anatomy on the Popcorn Talk Network, which is our other show we do every single week. You guys can go check that out. But today on the show, we are going to be asking the question, what is the true worst and best movie in the DCEU? And another question I have, and I don't know if this is necessarily going to be the focus of the show, but I was thinking about pre-MCU Marvel. So like Blade through probably Fantastic Four 2. And that 10 years. And really comparing that 10 years to the 7 movies released so far in the DCEU, and which would you take?
I mean, are you asking me now, or are we going to talk about it later?
We can kind of get through the show, but because I think this is important for us to point out. We'll get to our shout-outs here in a second, but Drew and I are big movie fans. We're critics. We review most things, and we've done shows together for years. I like some of the DCEU movies. I don't like others. Just like I like some of the MCU movies, and I don't like some of the others. There's also other movies in the superhero genre than just those two categories.
100%.
But on the whole, most people believe, and I believe, the DCEU has been pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't until it felt like Wonder Woman came out that it was like, okay, so they can actually make a phenomenal film. Not just a good enough film, because you and I are actually pretty big fans of Man of Steel, which most people aren't.
It's polarizing.
Yeah, it's pretty polarizing opinion. And now it feels like they might be on the right track, I hope, with Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman being the last 3 films. Or, well, I guess
Justice League was in there, too. It'll be fascinating for us to go through this list and kind of talk about each one. We've included some other segments as well that I think will be a lot of fun. But so let's kind of save that Marvel versus the DCEU thing for a little later in the show.
Okay.
But that's, I think, something to talk about. So first and foremost, guys, follow us on Twitter at Team Action Show. You can also find me personally at Twitter at Ben Bateman Media.
You guys can find me at Andrew Guy on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find the show on Instagram at Action Industries. We got a great Facebook page also by the same name. Give it a like. And the last thing that I want to plug personally is our YouTube channel, where you can find full episodes of this show on video. Now, you can find the full episode on audio in numerous places on the Collider Movie Talk feed. You can do that on Apple One, Podcast One. You can do it even on Spotify. But if you want to watch the video, Action Industries on YouTube is the only place to find this full episode. It is available to patrons, patreon.com/teamaction on Fridays, and it's available to everyone on Tuesdays on our YouTube channel. So,
so guys, we are going to get straight into the show, and that question that I asked, what is the true worst and best DCEU movie? That is like the one question we're sort of trying to answer here, and so I think the thing that I wanted to. I'm hearing somebody in the background. I think we should probably introduce your mother. As well. Your mother is here because it's your birthday. While we're taping, she's in town. Sue Pack is here.
Hi, Mom. Good to see you. My dog Snickers is here as well. And honestly, if he's not sitting down, just leave him alone. He'll be fine. Just don't let him, run amok. Don't let him get on the microphone is the problem, because once he gets on the mic, he will not shut up. Yes, it is my birthday. Thank you so much for that, and thank you guys for supporting the show. That's honestly filming on my birthday is one of my favorite things. It feels like I'm doing what I love.
Absolutely. So I think the first thing I wanted to kind of throw out here, because there's only 7 movies, and in general, I think most people have the same number one. We've kind of alluded to it, but I won't confirm it. More importantly, the perception of these movies, kind of as we hear about them and as we see trailers for them, there's a lot of buzz that goes behind all superhero movies.
You and I love trailers.
We do.
It's like one of the staples of our friendship is watching trailers, and I love that the actual or what you wrote in here is rank the trailers / the hype for each film in the DCEU, which I absolutely love this, because I think that the DCEU has done a pretty good job with their trailers overall. Now, Shazam was a bit of a miss for me, and so was Aquaman, but everything else has been pretty killer. I mean, Man of Steel is one of my favorites of all time.
I was pretty excited about the Shazam trailer when I walked out of Comic-Con last year. I liked the Shazam trailer. I mean, Aquaman, I was a little more lukewarm on, but the Shazam trailer I thought was great, and I think we can both agree. Man of Steel. I mean, so what do you think has the least memorable or worst trailers? I think let's kind of go back to front here.
Honestly, I think for me, the absolute worst trailer was probably Shazam.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think it's because I don't know anything about him.
Sure.
And I didn't really see Zachary Levi as a movie, like as that A-list movie star charisma that we talk about. Clearly, after watching the film, although by the way, there may be spoilers in here for Shazam. Yeah. Most likely will be. So please be careful. But I just wasn't. I didn't know him. Never heard of him. Didn't know what was going on. I didn't really quite understand the kid turning into the man and back and forth in the trailers. And then I was like, oh, Mark Strong's here. Why is Jaimin Hansu in another superhero film?
And also in DC, Shazam is also referred to as Captain Marvel. So now Jaimin Hansu is in 2 Captain Marvel movies from 2 different companies within a week of each other, basically.
Which is so weird. And then like the whole like, grab the stuff and say my name. And he's like, Shazam. And I'm like, this isn't cool.
And he says that he's like, gross.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good line.
That's just such a good line. But then you watch the movie itself and you kind of understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah. For sure.
But for me, that was the worst one.
Yeah, I mean, like, we talk a lot about Oscar Isaac with the apocalypse makeup. Yeah. And like Jaimin showing up in the robe with like the Shazam thing on his chest and all the like hair and the beard. Yeah. You're like, all right, this is like one of those. You have to suspend I have to just buy into this because like otherwise this is absurd.
I just don't get why they didn't get anyone else.
Yeah, like why? Like, just get an unknown.
Just anyone.
Doesn't need to be
way
Jaimin
too many
Hansu.
Superhero movies and just movies period recently. Yeah, it's so crazy, but good for him and his agent.
Yeah, seriously. So I don't totally agree. I actually like the Shazam trailer. I think of the trailers here, the one that is the worst to me,
I know what you're gonna say,
is definitely gonna be Aquaman.
Yeah, that was my next one.
Because Aquaman. I mean, and I kind of put some notes here next to each one, right? So, like, for Shazam, I wrote funny but charming. The level of caring when this movie premiered its trailer was, like, lower than ever because we had Suicide Squad and Justice League. Like, that's what people were talking about. We knew Aquaman was coming, but...
And also, on the other side of it, everyone's thinking about Captain Marvel and Endgame.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, when they started advertising Shazam, it was just like... I don't know. Like, this looks good. Like, this trailer looks funny, but, like... This is the best you can do. It's like some sort of weird slapsticky thing. And on the other end, Aquaman, it was just like the expectations at that point for a movie were very low. Like, very low.
Incredibly. I mean, I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, so you're already showing us the exact kind of like bro-y, on-the-nose humor you're trying to go with. Like, he's drinking beer and he's at a bar and I get it. He doesn't care. This is a different Arthur Curry, right?
That and he's jacked and he's in the water and you're like, I get it. This guy's a movie star. I can tell.
Yeah, and then you saw like Amber Heard and the other people surrounding it. It was kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know. I might actually want to change my answer to Aquaman just because I actually didn't have any precedence or any like opinion of Shazam. Whereas with Aquaman, I'd seen comics, I'd read stuff a little bit about him. Yeah, for me that was the worst. However, the best, the one that I love the most,
trailers.
Yeah, Man of Steel.
Yeah,
hands down.
I mean, I think the Man of Steel trailer 2 and 3 both, because the first trailer for Man of Steel is the really really quick one where they don't show you much. It's a teaser, but then trailer 2 and trailer 3 are like 2 of my favorite pieces of film short ever. Like, I'm such a fan of both. I mean, they put on display the best parts of that movie, which are like a lot of the non-super stuff,
and without spoiling it.
Yeah.
Imagine you're on an island.
Yeah.
You are my son. Like those.
Diane Lane, Kevin Costner.
It's basically who you wish were your parents.
Zod being like, find him! With the eyes like all crazy.
Yeah, I love crazy Michael Shannon.
I do kind of love Man of Steel. It's like a movie that every time I think about it, I think I like it more than actually when I watch it.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you actually watch it, you're like, all right, there's holes here and there's holes here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Dumb,
he's a really good Superman.
I love him.
Cavill's a great Clark Kent, and he's a great Superman.
Yeah, he is very, very good. And I actually really like Michael Shannon as the villain. The other trailer that was the big hit was Suicide Squads. It was just so... People were losing their minds.
And there's 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, Suicide Squad, you know, the first one is that's the Comic-Con one, the long one. That's the one that ends with the Joker. I'm just going to hurt you really bad.
Right.
That whole thing.
Hey, can you, Mom, just don't worry about him. Just leave him alone. He's fine. Okay.
And so, yeah, like that one I remember, and it was such a hype thing, and it was so crazy. And at the end of it, you know, you have the Jared Leto thing, and everybody starts talking about that. But then the next one is the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, where it's the same thing. It's 2.5 minutes, and it's all the is this the real life and
right.
Yeah. But the crazy thing about that movie is the trailers were so good they ended up bringing the editors from the trailer in to edit the movie, and that's why that movie's so bad.
Really? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know that that's why, because the editing in that actual film is brutal. It's just it actually just doesn't work for me. So, yeah, those are the best and the worst. I mean, like, Wonder Woman was good. It was really sweet.
I watched it again this morning, and I got to say, the Wonder Woman trailer is great.
But is it better now because you know how good the movie is?
Probably.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, the trailer was good. I liked the trailer when I watched it the first time, but watching it again, it's like all the stuff they show in the trailer, I remember, like, it's also sweet in the movie. It's also powerful and impactful that watching it in the trailer, I was like, God, this just, how would I watch this and not be excited? And maybe the expectation was low because the DCEU was kind of floundering at that moment. But like the Wonder Woman trailer is good.
Yeah. I mean, I remember it being good, and I remember being very excited for the film. And I just haven't watched it since it came out. I haven't watched the trailer since it came out.
Now the other one is BVS, and I don't know if you remember this, but BVS comes off the success of, Man of Steel had been pretty successful. And we were all excited. We were all really excited we were going to get to see Batman.
Justice League is what I was thinking of. Okay, yeah. So BVS was the one where they had...
Do you bleed? That trailer. Yeah.
You will.
All that stuff.
Which
and
was awesome.
It was sweet. The problem with that trailer was there's like 7 of them.
And they showed so much of the story. And it wasn't the thing that happens where a movie comes out and then another trailer comes out afterwards. It's like 2 minutes long. And it's like, if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is what happens in it. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was the ones that all came out before. There was just too much.
They tried to really advertise the crap out of this movie, and there was shots they show, and they're like, like we know from a lot of trailers, they show shots that are supposed to be sort of the like, this is one of the things you should know about this. Like one of them is Ben Affleck doing pull-ups looking shredded. And you're like, oh, wow, Affleck got shredded for Batman.
So that would be fun to watch.
And they show the scene of him in the warehouse. There's the quick trailer cut there. And,
the quick fighting in the boxes and stuff.
Like, oh, that looks really cool. And, of course, like, do you bleed? So it was really exciting. It's just like, I think they were advertising this during Super Bowl. I remember correctly, there was a big extended trailer that came in around Super Bowl because it was a summer movie. And by the time the Super Bowl one came out, we had seen like 3 trailers.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, by the time the movie released, it was just like,
what could possibly be left?
Yeah. And most of what was left was bad.
That's what it really was. And you went, exactly. And then when you went and watched the movie, all those really sweet moments they put in the trailer had been, a little bit of gravitas had been taken away because we'd seen it so many times.
So I will say that of the movies on this list that I'm interested in revisiting, and we're spending a lot of time on the trailers here.
It's because we love trailers.
Yeah. But I mean, we're also talking a little about each movie. One of the things that I think is so interesting is like, I think BVS might be better on rewatch now than it was the first time because the expectations are much lower and like you kind of know now how it all turned out.
We watched that together in theaters, right?
Justice League or
BVS?
BVS. I'm pretty certain. Yeah. So that one I do want to go back and rewatch because it's just like the stuff that I remember disliking about that movie. A lot of the stuff that I remember disliking was like, wait, am I mixing it up with Justice League?
Isn't that the other thing? It's so hard to differentiate the movies.
No, BVS. Like, it's Doomsday, and it's like the Kryptonite Spear, and Amy Adams
goes and gets it out of the water. Oh, no, that's Justice League.
No, that's BVS.
That's BVS.
Yeah. I just remember that movie, like, I want to watch it.
Yeah, because Gal shows up in BVS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She with you, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that movie was still trying to be so dark. And so then we jump over to the last trailer that we haven't talked about yet, and that's the Justice League trailer. And this is the interesting one because this happens right when they're shifting from like, we need to make this not so serious. We need this to be funny.
Yeah.
And so like the trailer is the Come Together remix.
The Flash is going to be really cool and funny.
Yeah. And then Batman's like, my superpower is that I'm rich.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, joke.
It's a joke we're laughing at.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
And that movie, like, I think that movie's exactly as I remember it. I don't know if it's better or worse. Like both BVS and Justice League make me feel like I want to rewatch them, and I have a feeling I would like both more on rewatch.
I think you would.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would because your expectations are literally so low now. But
I think the only properly bad movie, like truly not a good movie at all on here, is Suicide Squad. I think it's the only DCEU movie they've made that's like, this is just garbage.
It's like irredeemable. There's not a redeeming quality about it. Like I guess you could maybe go Harley Quinn.
It's Deadshot and Harley. Like,
it's Deadshot and Harley. Yeah,
they're like both kind of sweet. Like they're stars, and you can tell. And otherwise, like
Jai Courtney.
Yes, Captain Boomerang. So that's the discussion of the trailers, kind of what we remember about these movies as they were coming out. I don't know if you guys remember them differently, but go leave your comments there. Let us know your thoughts. Did you have a trailer that you were the most excited for, a movie you were the most disappointed by, et cetera, et cetera? We're gonna get into our proper ranking of all 7 films in the DCEU in reverse order.
Yeah, and I'm going to hop in with number 7 because we just said it. It's Suicide Squad. I mean, it was all over the place. The trailer looked amazing, but you go and you watch the movie, Cara Delevingne,
I think.
She's like fine enough. She's like kind of cool. The CG's like good enough. But it's that thing at the end where it's just like faceless demons that I don't care about fighting against superheroes over something that doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to live. Like, it just didn't for me.
It was like so many of these things that they achieve a little bit. Like Jared Leto does fine as Joker. He's okay.
He's fine.
He's kind of an unnecessary part of the movie. He like didn't need to be in the movie.
It's really one of those things. Like, in hindsight is 2020. It's like, I wish Jared Leto didn't do it. I wish they didn't put the Joker in.
Yeah.
I wish that maybe the end was the Joker saving them and getting away, but you never see his face or something. I don't know.
It's just not necessary, and like a lot of the stuff with Joker in that movie was just so like emblematic of what they were going for at that point, which is like things need to look cool.
Like him laying in that thing of knives.
Yeah,
doesn't he like lay in a circle of knives?
Yeah, this was just dumb, and like it's just so much of this movie, like and a lot of the stuff that you're supposed to like Amanda Waller, you know, like she's Viola Davis plays Amanda Waller, and I love Viola Davis, and like
I hate her in the movie.
Yeah, it's just the only part about this movie that I remember watching and liking is just I think Will Smith as Deadshot is good. I like him.
Yeah.
He's a star.
Yeah,
and it's funny that Idris is not going to replace him, right?
Oh yeah, that is super weird.
Yeah.
Did you read why that was happening?
I don't know if Will Smith just doesn't want to be involved in another movie because the first one is critically so panned. I'm not sure. But then on the flip side of it, like, you know, Margot as Harley is great.
She's great.
She looks the part. She's got like the crazy and the laugh, and like she does it. And she's in that moment in her career where it just fits.
Is there an origin coming with her or no?
Harley Quinn. Birds of Prey, Gotham City Sirens.
Oh,
there's a
show.
There's a there's a movie.
Oh yeah, with her in it, right?
Yeah, I just can't remember what the actual title is. I think it's Birds of Prey or something.
That sounds more correct. But yeah, at number 7 we have Suicide Squad.
Or no, maybe it's Gotham City Sirens. I don't fucking know. It's one of those movies. Number 6, we're gonna go. I'll let you introduce 6.
No, I did not do 6 yet.
Okay, number 6 is going to be Aquaman.
No. Justice League.
Oh, Justice League is number 6.
Yeah. Justice League is number 6. Why?
See, it's funny because like when I look at this and I think that of the 7 movies, we're putting Justice League as 6. If Justice League is the 6th movie on the list, then the DCEU is not that bad because like Justice League's fine. It's not great. It's just not good. It's just most of what sucks about that movie is like Steppenwolf is a bad villain. I don't know why they went with Steppenwolf. The CGI on Steppenwolf looks terrible.
It's really bad. It's like a video game from the early 2000s.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that should be great in that movie is just kind of really by the numbers superhero movie stuff.
Right.
It's like in all the places that they wanted Justice League to feel like Avengers, it just didn't.
100%, and they tried it. They tried to do all the funny things, and they tried to like have their, you know, the coming together be like super epic and badass. But I think they were almost too self-aware and referential on the jokes that it kind of took away from it. Like,
yeah,
I actually like Ezra Miller for the most part.
He's fine,
but I think they overrode him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think the best part of that movie was again, it's Gal, just because she is like a goddess on camera.
She steals the show, and like I think the biggest fail of this movie, and this is one of those things where I can't blame Snyder. I don't even know where the blame for this goes, but by the time this movie came out, it felt like we had moved so far past Ben Affleck's Batman. We had already gotten to this point where in this movie he looks kind of old and he looks kind of out of shape.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, I don't know, it was weird. He looked like he was older than the rest of the Justice League, and he didn't look like he belonged in that movie.
Because the other thing about every other superhero in the DCEU and the MCU is you feel like they're honored to be there. And it felt like that for for Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
But
like,
it did not feel that way.
It was exciting, and like when the movie was coming out, I remember like there had been all the press, but he was leaving. It just took away. It took away a lot, and I think that movie suffered a lot because of it. So then coming in at number 5 is the one that I thought we were doing at 6, and that's Aquaman.
It's Aquaman, and you know I'm very curious. You said this on AMA.
Yeah.
DCEU fans, because Marvel has just been the biggest, greatest thing to ever happen to superhero movies, period. DCEU fans are very defensive, and they're very in the corner of their team.
Yeah.
I am very curious to see what people say about our opinion on Aquaman being solo, but for me, it just didn't work. Like, I do believe that Momoa is a superstar. I think he's got that superstar charisma. All the other stuff about it, though, I just couldn't really get super on board with. Like, I actually liked how it started with Nicole Kidman and the history and the backstory of like the mom being from Atlantis and a goddess and all that. I liked it. But then it was kind of halfway through the jokes. I think honestly the comedy.
Yeah.
That's why Shazam works so well is like, and why Wonder Woman works so well is when the comedy hits in these films, they're so good. It is so enjoyable. With Aquaman, I felt like they were trying a little too hard with everything, with the comedy and with making Aquaman just seem like a badass bro, dude.
I know that is the move with him, and like it works in spirit. Like it works really well in spirit for the character, but it's not always practical when you're watching it because you're just like, this is sometimes feels too gimmicky. And I know you're a better actor than this, and I know that you're a smarter. Like I know the people that are directing this movie. Like James Wan's a great director. He's really smart. So like they went for it with this movie. They seriously went for it. And I think on AMA what I said was like, this movie could be described as fun. And people would, when you asked did you like it or not like it to a critic, a lot of the critics that I was with at the time were like, it was pretty fun. There's weird stuff in here. There's like an octopus playing the bongos. Like that, they really went for it. And like Momoa's a star, and this movie's good. I actually really liked it. And like, but it's like they really like it because it's weird and kind of wonky. And you give me like, let's say you give me 20 more DCEU movies over the next 10 years, or even just 10 more, and you have a couple more really good ones, then people will look back at this movie and be like, it kind of took chances, but it just kind of flopped. Like it's a lot. Like I think about how people feel about like Thor 1 in a lot of ways. It's just like, yeah, it's like doing some things right, and he's a star, but like otherwise, this movie's just kind of like, what?
And one thing I will say about it is I want to hang out with Jason Momoa
100%.
as Arthur Curry and as Jason Momoa. He seems like a total awesome dude. Like it would be so fun, and I like some of the stuff that I like. The really big creature, like the octopus thing in there, was awesome. And I also think that I would want a Justice League movie more now.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen Aquaman do his thing, now that Wonder Woman's been so great, and now that we have Shazam, so that's going to do it for the bottom of the list. Now we're getting to the top 4.
Yeah. So I think the next movie on the list is. I feel that it's Batman versus Superman.
And I'm going to let you just take this one because I like Batman versus Superman, but I don't absolutely love it. And you had been arguing to get it higher and higher on the list, and I agreed because I love Cavill. I think Affleck tries hard enough. I think there's some good moments, but why do you think it's that high? Whoa.
What am I hearing?
I don't know. I think it's my mom's phone.
And it's us recording an earlier episode today.
Yeah. Okay. How about we don't do that anymore, okay?
I think BVS, the reason I have BVS higher, and again, like this is that same feeling I have with Man of Steel feeling like it's higher in memory, is that just thinking about Henry Cavill with his shirt off. No, no. I think
gets me excited.
I think like actually legitimately BVS goes for a lot. It goes for a ton of stuff. It goes for the Dark Knight Returns. It goes for the Doomsday storyline. It goes for so many things.
Martha.
Yeah. And a lot of the things, the ambitious things that it goes for don't really work. It's like it's trying to do so many things. But then a lot of things that it does go for do work. Like, that's the sweetest that Affleck ever was as Batman. He's like really sweet in that movie.
Yeah.
He's awesome in that movie. He's like, he looks awesome. He feels like an awesome Bruce Wayne. Like him and his manner drinking wine and Alfred. Like, it's sweet.
And I love the super suit.
Yeah.
I love the kryptonite suit, and he wears it well, and the voice enhancement is awesome. I think, honestly, I just need to watch it again.
Me too. That's honestly, and I've felt like what I've wanted to do is watch the extended cut because I've heard it's cool. Though we just did Shazam on AMA. I mentioned the other options we were going to maybe do. We were going to maybe do this movie. We were going to maybe do BVS if Shazam sucked. But I just think we should do BVS at some point.
I'm down. I mean, we did Man of Steel with Sam Levine.
Yeah,
which was a lot of fun.
For Man of Steel.
And he likes that movie a lot. I'd be happy to cover BVS and watch it again.
There's like a lot of stuff in BVS that I think works really well and I like. Like I enjoy the way it starts and how Bruce is afraid of, he saves the girl when he's fighting Zod. Like there's that cool flashback.
Oh, and I love the world building with Man of Steel and like what Batman was doing during it was one of my favorite things.
Really cool.
Yeah.
The weird like advertisement for the Justice League that happens when he's like hacking the computer and it's like remember all that?
Yeah.
That's kind of sucks. And then of course like Wonder Woman shows up and they have to fight Doomsday. Some of the stuff that this movie suffers from is the stuff that same thing with Hawkeye and Black Widow, which is like when you're fighting against like giant monster gods, like obviously
being
Wonder Woman
surrounded by gods.
Yeah, obviously Wonder Woman and Superman can fight Doomsday, but what's Batman doing? He's like jumping from like scaffold to scaffold with a batarang. Like he'd just be dead. He's just
he would get murdered instantly.
And like that's always you have to play so carefully with that when you do a superhero movie because like some of them are going to be like the Batman and the Iron Man type of characters, but Iron Man's got a super suit.
Exactly, and you know that they could have made it to a point to where we believe that Batman could hold his own in that fight instead of kind of like making fun of him a little bit.
Yeah, it just was weird. And so I think that's the thing with BVS, but I like BVS more in memory than I did at the time, and I would like to watch it again. So then moving up to our top 3.
Yeah, and it feels like we've been panning these movies a little bit. We're kind of talking about why they're on the lower half. These top 3 we absolutely adore, and number 3 is Man of Steel. Surprising probably for a lot of people.
I like Man of Steel a lot. The trailers we talked about already. Trailer 2 and trailer 3.
Good.
There's so many things about Man of Steel that I love. I'm one of the few people that loves Russell Crowe. I really like the Krypton stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
Goodbye, my son.
Goodbye, my son.
I love Kevin Costner.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, that stuff's so good.
We're just reciting the trailer.
Yeah. Amy Adams is Lois. She's a really good Lois. Like, I
yeah.
love all the Clark stuff before he becomes Superman. Like
I love his origin story.
Yeah, like him working at the diner and like him right, like all that stuff. It's just
The bus.
My son was in the bus. He saw what Clark did. We just reciting the trailer.
Yeah, we really are.
The issue with this movie, and this is the issue that most people have, is that the last 45 minutes suffers from what so many superhero movies do, which is gods fighting gods.
Yeah.
And it's like people throwing each other through buildings. And it's good that they pick up on some of that in BVS. That's what Batman's witnessing, is the world being, like the city being just decimated by these two.
We never see.
No.
We never get to actually see, because that's what we always think when we're watching these movies. You're like, you're a superhero fighting a supervillain. You are literally murdering thousands of people during your fight.
Yeah.
Like, if no one's acknowledging it. And I love that they acknowledge Man of Steel's battle at the beginning of BVS.
And he snaps his neck at the end, right? He kills Zod.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
You do?
Yeah.
And you're a big comic book fan. A lot of the most diehard comic book fans are like, Superman would never kill someone.
I know, that's like an issue. Are you doing a Kalinowski impression, or?
But he has to.
Yeah.
Right? He has no choice.
Yeah, totally. I think I love, like, and I rewatched Man of Steel for the show when we did that like a year ago or whatever. Like, I really like that movie. I love the music. It's I think it's a Hans Zimmer score.
Sounds right.
Pretty sure, and it's a really good score. There's like a few songs in there that are unbelievable. Of course, you get more Diane Lane.
Yeah, I love Diane Lane. I love every scene with him and Costner. Costner's just like the greatest on-screen superhero dad ever.
Yeah, Costner puts his hand up. Yeah.
Oh, that part's so heartbreaking.
Yeah. So that's the number 3. I really like Man of Steel. And then number 2 is going to be the brand new one. It's Shazam. We just saw it. We just talked about it again. That we just did the whole episode on it. And Shazam works so well because the foster kids are so good.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the best cast film in all of the superhero universes, MCU and DCEU, which is crazy because I actually think basically everyone's cast perfectly in both universes, honestly.
Yeah, they bat 1,000 with the casting of all the kids and their parents. Like, every one of them is so cute. They're so adorable. They're so fun. It's just, I love the family. Like, they're just great.
If there's one kid that's annoying, it doesn't work.
No.
And they're all perfect.
Yeah.
You love Mary. You love Dora. Even Pedro, who's silent. You get who he is as a character immediately when he's like, hey, and he puts his headphones on, keeps walking. It's like, from the first time you see him till the very end of the movie, you're completely on board.
Yeah, and it's like they use them all so well. The beats work so well. The little girl Darla, is that her name?
Yeah, I think it's Darla.
And she's like, she's like, it's what a good sister does. Like, she's so cute. All her lines, and like the way that in the end, all hands on deck. I loved this movie. I really liked Shazam a lot. I didn't love the ending as much because, like, and spoilers, but like all the extra Shazams, it just felt a little like, where are we going with this? Like, now what happens? Now there's 6 Shazams in the world? Yeah. You guys all get to still be Shazam? Like
when that moment happened, I was like, no, here's like 20 more minutes of film that I don't want to see.
And it was fine, and like the villains were cool, but the way they fought and like how you beat them, that was all harder to follow.
Yeah.
But like,
Levi's a star. He's absolutely amazing.
Total star.
Know?
Yeah, Asher Angel's great as the kid. They just do a really good job with this movie. So I highly recommend seeing Shazam. And then the number 1,
It's Wonder Woman.
It's Wonder Woman.
And I feel like that's pretty hard to argue against. The relationship between Gal and Chris, the fact that he's the damsel in distress throughout the whole movie, and he plays it so well, and, you know, like, I saved today, you saved the world. The world is just like, oh, it brings me to tears.
I know. I wish we had more time. There's like, this movie, I have wanted to go back and rewatch this movie, but like all the stuff on Themyscira at the beginning, with the Amazons fighting.
Robin Wright
Penn's so sweet.
Yes.
Like and just like Gal and then watching the trailer for this, what I was reminded of is like how epic and dramatic it is when she finally in the costume goes and does No Man's Land.
No Man's Land.
It's so good. And like watching even in the trailer, I was getting like teared up. I was like, God, this is so epic feeling.
And you know, in the trailer, when watching the trailer, you're like, this is a huge moment in the movie. right? And so when it starts to happen in the movie, you're like, all right, this better be really good because you guys have already teased it too much.
Yeah.
And then it delivers completely.
And you know what I forgot about until the trailer, just because it hasn't been as prominent, is her music is so sweet. The guitar, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
it's awesome.
love it. I like. It's such a cool. One of the coolest parts of the character is that sound design. Like
it's like almost silly, but it's so aware of itself that it's amazing.
And she's just a badass. Like she's great. She's like so stunningly beautiful. She's tough. She's like intimidating,
and she's just so genuine.
And she's genuine. She's pure.
Like when she's walking and she sees all the heartbreak from all the people from the war, and you're just like, she's like, I want to go now. I want to go to the battle right now. That like childlike likeness about her is amazing.
Yeah. Wonder Woman is really special, and I'm really hoping it's one of the reasons that when we had the discussion of buying or selling on the MCU, I said buying. You know, I think I'm buying because I think she's that good. I think you can make a few more movies if you get another Zachary Levi type of casting that works. Like you have a few movies that are going to work, and
100%.
She's one of the best and most important parts.
So then I want to go back to the question you asked at the top of the show. What's worse, pre-MCU Marvel, or the DCEU as it stands now?
Or we should say, what's better?
Yeah. What's better, honestly? Yeah.
We like these movies.
We do.
And I think the answer to the question is, I mean, that includes Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. It includes X-Men 1 and X-Men 2. It includes Blade 2. It includes all the bad ones. Daredevil and Elektra, Fantastic Four 1 and
Catwoman. Oh no, that's technically DC.
That's DC. And then you get the Hulk, the Ang Lee Hulk.
Oh.
You get
get all the Hulks, right?
No, the Incredible Hulk is MCU. That's
the one with Norton is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I think probably the DCEU is better.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think Wonder Woman is the best movie of all of them.
100%.
Better than Spider-Man 2. It's better than X-Men 2.
And Shazam might be on par with X-Men 2 and Spider-Man 2 and 1.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think Shazam was really enjoyable. Like it has holes in the same way, but like it also just feels like that was a different era where like the tone they were going for was different.
Yeah.
And I think I probably would give it to the DCEU because like I'm seeing things that I care way more about in the DCEU. Like even the parts of BVS that don't work and parts of Man of Steel that don't work, they don't really make those movies feel like unmemorable in the way that like there are parts of Spider-Man 1 that don't work.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also the thing where the MCU before it felt like it started strong and then really, really hit like a road bump and just couldn't regain its strength
Marvel,
or like regain its momentum. And then with DCEU, I feel the exact opposite. I feel like now they had great hits with I wish I could remember the order that these came out with, but like Man of Steel was the first one, right?
I believe the order is in the order of these trailers that I listed here. That's the actual order.
Yeah. So like Man of Steel came out and I was happy, and then BVS came out and I was like, okay, I'm over this. Then Wonder Woman happened, and now it feels like they've been doing better, even though the Justice Leagues and the Suicide Squads and the Aquamans are in there. It's like the fact that they did as well what they did as Wonder Woman and Shazam makes me feel like they're going in the right direction.
It's actually possible that Suicide Squad is reversed. I think Suicide Squad might have come out in 2016, Wonder Woman was 2017, which is why BVS into Suicide Squad was such like and then Wonder Woman was like they needed it. Otherwise, I think if Wonder Woman hadn't worked, the DCEU was dead.
Yep.
I don't think they were going to recover.
Whereas Aquaman was good enough for the DCEU that even if Shazam didn't work, they were still doing okay.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I think the DCEU. I mean, my answer on that show is that I'm buying. You said selling.
I did say selling,
and I think we're somewhere in between the two. I'm not that far off of it, so. Those are going to be my answers, guys. That's going to wrap up our definitive ranking of all the films in the DCEU. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you are listening to this on Collider Movie Talks podcast feed, you can find the video version every single Tuesday on the Action Movie Anatomy. Sorry, not Action Movie Anatomy. The Action Industries YouTube channel. And you get the full episodes video early if you go and check out the patreon.com/Team Action. Everybody at I think it's the $5 tier, gets the videos 4 days early. So that's going to wrap us up. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
I just want to say, let us know what you guys thought about our list. Let us know what your ranking is, 1 through 7. Let us know how you feel about the trailers. And also, just be gentle on us with the rankings of Aquaman and things like that. We do enjoy these films, but we do know you DC fans are quite passionate.
Quite passionate. And feel free to tweet me anytime.
Yeah.
Positively.
At Ben Bateman Media, at Andrew Guy.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.